Hi, welcome to Comic Talk. I am Joshua.
Bro, I wasn't even ready yet.
Oh, sorry.
This is our pull list review for July 20th.
Alright, so this week we are looking at 4 titles that we read today, because they came out today. They are Batman number 3, Superman number 3, Fuck Fairyland, I Hate Fairyland, whatever. Number 7, we finally got the Fuck Fairyland cover.
Yeah, it says the F word, so it's better.
It's better, it's funny like that, right?
Yeah.
And Black Hammer number 1. So we'll start off talking about King Finch, Mickey and Bel Air's Batman number 3.
Batman! Yeah. We get a bunch of backstory on the Gotham people in this one.
Yeah.
It's basic meat of it.
Mm-hmm. This is finally the Tom King Batman that I wanted from the get-go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It felt a little bit too Snyder to me.
Really?
In my opinion, yeah.
In a way, like, I can see what you mean, but just the writing is so much better than what Snyder does.
Yeah, conceptually, though, it felt like a Snyder book, in that like half of it talks about like the city as a character and what it does to you, and all that stuff. But it was like if Snyder laid out like a plot and then somebody scripted it better than he could.
Agreed. Which is all I really asked for. It's all I really cared about. Just give me Snyder's idea, because Snyder has good ideas. Like,
sure.
A lot of his ideas were cool. They were just poorly written.
Yeah,
and
poorly executed.
Terribly concluded was really the big problem with his run, right? Like,
sure.
Every story just kind of fizzles out, and then next thing.
Yeah.
Right. So
Batman wins.
I feel like King's going to give us a lot more nuance, and goddamn if he isn't a much better writer in terms of how he puts the dialogue together, and
definitely
the way he strings different people's dialogue into each other is superb here, to the point where it was almost confusing sometimes. Like, wait, who was just talking? And then you realize that everybody has kind of the same opinion, right? Which I think is the idea. Like,
right.
Like everybody in Gotham kind of feels this way is the idea. So he just moves the narrator around between different people, but it's like
they're making the same point.
It's one monologue the whole way through. It's really cleverly written, I think.
Yeah, I would still like to see his voice come through a little bit more, which I think we'll see like as time goes on. But yeah, it was a good issue overall. Yeah, this to me felt a lot closer, at least again in the dialogue aspect, as like Sheriff of Babylon. Actually, like I got a really heavy, kind of gritty feel from it, in that the characters sound real, like Batman and everybody else as they're talking. It sounds like real people, like talking about traumatic things, which is a huge plus to me. I really liked this a lot, actually. Yeah. And I did enjoy the bit because one of the We Are Gotham dudes has like a similar origin story, I guess, as Batman. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, are we fucking doing this again?
Yeah, me
God
too.
Damn it. And then, I noticed that the necklace was different. And then from that point on, it becomes clear that it is different.
Yeah, it was pretty clever, actually. I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, man, come on, Tom King.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that it was a pretty smart idea. I actually like it quite a bit. But you're right, not much happens here, and it is...
I never really have that complaint about comics.
Right.
Things can happen or they cannot,
Right. But yeah, I felt like the writing was much stronger this issue than it has been before. It's still not... it's still not like Vision or Sheriff of Babylon or even Omega Man, but it's a lot better than the first two. I felt like the first two were really mediocre, and this one is now starting to feel like a good Batman book to me.
Then I got a good laugh at one point in it, too.
Yeah, there's
a jumping off a bridge thing.
Yeah. What do you think about those characters? Because he's introduced these new characters, Gotham and Gotham Girl, and now we get a little bit more of them. How do you feel about them?
I still feel like they're going to crash and burn at some point, but I feel like this maybe pushed back that expectation. Like, I don't expect it to happen as immediately now.
Hopefully King has a nice long narrative that he's telling. I would like to see this draw out a little bit longer and
I'm sure it's like that short long form. Like, you know, you have the seeds of the long form, but there's also like the immediate 4 or 5 issue story to be told.
Yeah. Cool so far. All right, let's move over to Superman number 3. This is Tomasi, Gleason, Jimenez, and Sanchez.
So they go to the OG Superman's Fortress of Solitude to try to figure out why their son is like invulnerable one moment and scraping his knee the next.
Mm-hmm. And so the main thing here is they come up against Eradicator. They come across Eradicator. And this is kind of Grant Morrison-y, like bringing Eradicator back. He's from the 90s Death of Superman stuff.
Yeah.
It's basically, I mean, it's right in the same vein of what we've been dealing with Action Comics in this, where we're going back and kind of retrudging through Death of Superman.
Yeah.
But Eradicator was one of the guys that came back after Superman was dead and tried to take over the mantle of Superman. And it turned out that he was like this robot thing and, you know, bad guy, basically.
Yeah.
But he was kind of well liked by people in comparison to some of the others. Like, there was a bunch of different people that were going to be Superman, and it was kind of like each issue would be a different one. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like this whole drawn-out thing. And a lot of people liked Eradicator. He was kind of neat and kind of cheesy in like a fun way. So it was weird. Different. It was weird to see him come back. It's an interesting choice. How did you feel like it was executed, though?
I'm a bit unsure about that, actually. I mean, it's like as far as his role in the story, like he was kind of introduced originally as like a bad dude, and then he's like, well, I got to trust him, you know, because of this, and then he ends up like inhaling a dog.
Right.
So I really don't know, like, what the fuck.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. The pacing was okay, really. I didn't
feel bored, really, at any point. Yeah.
Yeah, just odd. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about this series yet. I like a lot of the aspects, but I'm not sold on how it's all coming together.
Yeah.
This is another one where I'm not sure Tomasi and such. Is Gleason also a writer? Is he an artist? I don't know, but I feel like they have a good idea what they want to do with like the Superman and John, his son. Mm-hmm. Like that feels like really well established. Like they have a long-term goal there that they want to tell a story there, but I don't know so much that they know exactly what they're doing issue to issue. Yeah,
it was a bit weird having like a double turn in one issue, you know, where it's like, oh, he's a bad guy. No, he's a good guy. Wait, he's a bad guy again. Like, I mean, could we not put like, you know, 3 or 4 issues between those two things to make it a little bit more impactful?
Right. It could have been really interesting.
Yeah.
Right. But so it makes it feel more like one and done, or like this is just to
facilitate the fight in the next issue.
Right. It's hard to say. I'm not sold on this yet. I didn't dislike it, and I like the art.
Yeah, the art's good.
I really like the old Silver Agey pulpy art with, you know, all these Superman flexing when he punches people looks. You know, it's just a lot of fun to look at.
And it's still got that slightly digital like sheen to it too, which is nice.
Yeah, it has a cool look to it, and again, I like the dynamic of the family. Mm-hmm. Which is why I wanted to read this in the first place.
Right,
so,
yeah, that was the whole reason.
So we'll see. I'm not super sold on it yet. How are you? Are you feeling the same? Like kind of
get another issue. Lukewarm? Yeah, but lukewarm.
Yeah. Let's move on to I Hate Fairyland, or
Fuck Fairyland.
Can we call it Fuck Fairyland? Like,
we can do it.
Does it make sense to call it that just because it's on the cover?
Our goddamn channel. We can do whatever we want.
Okay. So let's talk about it.
She's surprised, trying to get out of Fairyland again. She's meets this creepy collector dude and is tasked with finding dragon piss, and we get a new character.
Yeah. Kind of an interesting start. I like the look of this one more than any that I've read so far. Just the way it feels and looks visually. There's something about a lot of the characters and props in this one that.
The van is amazing.
Yeah, the van, and just Duncan, the kid with his dinosaur outfit, and he's looking at the slushy machine. There's like a lot to love visually. Her with the hood.
Yeah.
I don't know. Immediately, that's the first thing, like when I want to talk about this particular issue that comes to mind after reading it, is just how great it looks.
Yeah.
Story-wise, how'd you feel about the story here?
I didn't feel like it was as strong as it has been in the past.
I didn't either.
I don't know if I got like an out loud laugh out of this issue, which is a bit of a disappointment because usually I'll get 3 or 4 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely feels like a transition. There was some good stuff. I really liked when she tried to turn over the other leaf.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, all right.
Yeah. Maybe I need the axe after all.
Yeah. Yeah. And the plot device joke was good. There's a couple of really strong jokes in here, but that's kind of all we got. And that's not to say it wasn't good. It just wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually like 9-ish, around there, and this is maybe like 8 and a half, 8 and a quarter, something like that.
Yeah. It's good in terms of this, still. So
yeah, it was enjoyable.
It's just not great.
Just not meeting expectations that we had prior to it, which, are high.
Really high. Yeah. My expectations when I pick up this is super high.
Yeah.
So the fact that I
only... 7th issue, and it's been on our tops 6 times.
6 times. The fact that I only really enjoyed it, is what I'm saying. It's still a lot of fun. Last, let's talk about Black Hammer by Lemire Ormston and Dave Stewart. This is on Dark Horse, so that's kind of cool because we don't have any Dark Horse right now.
Yeah.
This is the first issue. I feel like this has been like previewed and teased forever, and now it's finally here.
This is a bit of an interesting one to introduce because all these characters are, I guess, like Golden or Silver Age something that happened back in the day, and then now we learned that there was this big event and one of them died and they have to all go like live at a farm, and one of them's trapped inside the body of like a 9-year-old girl. Don't really know why. One of them's just like batshit fucking crazy, and we kind of know why. There's really a lot going on. I would say, like, as far as like a first issue world building kind of thing, it was very successful.
I agree. Yeah, there's a lot packed into here.
Yeah.
And he does a really successful job of giving you a whole lot of information without it just feeling like an exposition-filled nightmare.
Right, and like some of them, what was his name? Something Barbalian?
Barbalian, yeah.
Yeah. I think he's a good example of like a character that we get a little bit of, and we get like some hints as to like who he is, but we still don't know like for sure. Mm-hmm. And I like that because I think if he had gone that extra step and really like tried to round out all the characters, it would have just been like too, heavy-handed,
too
or
much,
hammer-fisted, or whatever you're gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, and the interesting thing here, I mean, is just how nuanced he's pushing these characters. There's a lot of character interaction that's implied. It's not
right
on the page. You just kind of have to read between the lines based on how you imagine their relationship must be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he finds it like very, like it's every day for them, so you can kind of surmise based on that a lot of things.
Yeah, it's what is that word that slice of life.
Yes.
It's like a slice of life. It did give me a little bit of a Jupiter Circle feel. And also some fables and a little bit of Sweet Tooth.
Yeah.
So, if you mixed all 3 of those up in a blender, you kind of start to see what you're going to get here, I think.
Mm-hmm. Which, for me, is awesome, because Sweet Tooth is still my favorite Lemire work, easily.
So, all in all, I like where this is going quite a bit. I really like the characters so far. Mm-hmm. I think there's a nice mix. And I also like that there's a little bit of a nod to a lot of... Like, these characters are kind of analogous to other characters. Like there's... Barbalian or whatever, he goes by Mark Marks, like John Jones,
Yeah. One of them has a hammer.
Right, there's kind of a Thor-like thing going on, and what was the girl from Watchmen, the young one?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
So we get a lot of these characters that feel roughly similar to things we've seen in the past without just being carbon copies. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I feel like the main protagonist dude, like the old guy that doesn't hate being on the farm, reminds me a lot of Jeopard from Sweet Tooth.
Yeah.
It was immediately like what I kind of likened him to in my head.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, I like it. I like the like crazy dude.
Yeah,
that's like half incorporeal at this point. He's sort of like a Green Lantern-y kind of guy. But he's also, I feel like he's supposed to be our Silver Age-y character. Like he reads like a Kirby character, like Silver Surfer or something. Like he's just all in his own head, you know. So we have like this weird mixture of characters from sort of different genres all smashed together, living together. And I think that's really maybe the heart of this. I feel like that's what the heart of this is going to be, is like these different genre characters
trying to function together.
Functioning together, yeah.
What do you think about the art?
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I really like the way it looks. It feels sort of down home, you know?
Yeah. It's one of those things that's like detailed to the point of like looking shitty.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which I like it.
Like. I do too. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm glad we picked it up.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It is on the pull now. Who knows when we're going to get issue 2? Maybe it's going to be 7 months.
Yeah. It's Lemire and Dark Horse, so...
Well, Lemire, I think, is usually pretty... Once he gets started on something, it seems pretty consistent.
That's true. That's it. That's everything we read.
Comics.
What do we have coming up Monday?
What else did we do that we didn't put out?
I don't remember.
It was a trade review of the X-Men.
X-Men. Yeah, Wolverine and the X-Men.
Yeah.
Volume
Wolverine
1.
and the X-Men Volume 1.
Jason Aaron and Chris Bacallo.
Jason Aaron.
Yes. Who we have enjoyed together on Doctor Strange. So we went back and read Wolverine and the X-Men. So we will discuss that.
Let you know what we think of it.
Yeah, you can watch that on like Monday or something.
Dish. Yeah.
Yeah. Or listen to it.
Speaking of, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, podcasts, YouTube. I'm out of things.
Okay, well then, in the video here. Edit now.